To whom it may concern. How do you start one of these? My name is Donna Bellinger, and I know what happened to Barry Pomeroy. This is my confession. Barry was my producer on Miss Rainbow's Berry Patch, the show I created and star in. The show was in trouble, financially and critically. I saw the writing on the wall, heard the rumblings from the studio. I knew I was on the chopping block. On Friday, April 12th, we had a short shooting day, and the rest of the crew was leaving early. Barry reached out to me via email that morning about staying later to talk about things. He knew that I already knew what the meeting was about. He wanted to have a face-to-face, so I began planning. We wrapped around 2:30 p.m. I told Barry I had to run a few errands, but I'd be back later to chat. I drove my car out of the studio parking lot around 3 p.m. I drove to my usual smoothie shop and parked in the paid lot nearby, making sure I kept the receipts for my alibi. Shortly after, I took a taxi back to the studio, dropping me off a few blocks away in case anyone saw me. I entered the building and disabled the security system. We've had recent issues with our passwords being shared and figured it would be a plausible explanation for a break-in. I am quite the horticulturist, or at least I like to think so. Inside my office, hidden in the back, is an Atropa belladonna, more commonly known as deadly nightshade. Ingesting even a single berry. Why am I explaining this to you? It's in the name. I poisoned Barry's coffee. It was quicker than I thought it'd be. His mug clattered to the floor as he collapsed. We have an old orchestra pit below the soundstage we repurposed for the puppeteers and prop storage, so I dragged Barry over, lifted the trap door, and scooted him in. I figured I had a few days tops before someone found him, so I tossed in a few more props, some gnomes, flamingos, that sort of thing, to cover him a bit. That was about where my original plans ended. I paced around the office before an idea struck me. I fabricated a ransom note. Surely that would lead the police away from the studio pit, at least long enough for me to figure out a long-term plan. I walked the 3 miles to where my car was parked and drove back to the studio. That's when I contacted the police. I explained I had just returned to the studio to find the ransom note, and Barry nowhere to be found. And this is where we're at. I'm recording this in my office, and I can't think of any reality where I get away with this. So many questions I've had to answer, reiterating where I was at what time and doing what with who. And I don't think they believe me anymore. Maybe I'm not as good of an actor as I thought. Or maybe I'm more comfortable playing Miss Rainbow than I am Donna Bellinger. I I don't think I'm digging myself out of this hole. He deserved it. Barry deserved it. He wanted to sanitize my show, burn away my fingerprint from my own creation. The show would go on like I never existed. A rewrite, a recasting of history, reality. No, no, no. I'm the director of this story, and I haven't called cut yet. I'm going to bury under the scorched remains of this place. And no matter how deep you dig, you'll never find him. I'll make sure of it.